Let's get right to Republican Congressman Mike Rogers of Michigan. He's the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. It's nice to see you, sir. Thank you very much for talking with us. So in these emails, we are, I guess, sort of seeing the event unravel mostly in real time. When you see these emails, what does it tell you?
Well, it's not just these emails, it's everything that came before it. So when you look at the entire timeline, Soledad, we know that there were threat streams from AQIM, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, and Ansar al-Sharia, this group that is now claiming responsibility, or was claiming responsibility that they referenced in the email, is an affiliate of that Al-Qaeda group. And so what we saw was threat streams. The embassy, the consulate, had been attacked twice before, April and June, before that September attack. There was clearly, this was clearly a targeted place. This is somewhere that they wanted to have some terrorist success on the compound. So what you saw in the emails is in that real time was a real description. And if you notice, there was no talk of demonstrations or other things. And it was clearly very early identified with a terrorist affiliate of AQIM.
So let me ask you about that. How are they linked to Al-Qaeda? Because I know, as you know, that there are some who say that they are that they're not one and the same. I mean, you know, for those of us who are not on the Intelligence Committee, clearly we think of them as sort of this region of just bad guys. But Al-Qaeda has a sort of leadership structure, and other people have said that Ansar al-Sharia is just sort of a label and not so much of a leadership structure. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, what Al-Qaeda, the core group of Al-Qaeda, so it was Osama bin Laden and a guy named Zawahiri. Of course, Osama bin Laden is gone and Zawahiri has taken his place. That's called the core leadership of Al-Qaeda. So those were the original folks who brought it together and found groups that would join and swear allegiance to the leadership of Al-Qaeda. So that's that core group. Then you have Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, which was an affiliate group that joined Al-Qaeda and pledged allegiance to them. In about '06, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, which was not a direct Al-Qaeda affiliate, then joined Al-Qaeda and swore allegiance to that core group. So what you have is these different affiliate groups who are engaged in terrorism and have been prior to this, who have sworn allegiance to the principles of that core group. So they're affiliated, they have the same goals, the same aims. They will sometimes they'll take direction, sometimes they won't, from the core group, but they all engage in the same tactics, same principles, and still want, at the end of the day, the caliphate that they enjoyed, that covered all of Northern Africa, Southern Europe, the Middle East. That's what their stated and intended goal is. And Ansar al-Sharia basically means protector of Islam. So they have sworn an oath to do that. So they are that extremist jihadist group. All of them continue to be dangerous. And the interesting thing, again, Soledad, is we also know now that on the 13th of September, there was what we believe is probably an affiliate of Al-Qaeda attacked the U.S. Embassy in Tunisia. 4 dead, not Americans, 4 dead. And they also hit the American school there. Nobody's really talking about it, but that tells you the level of coordination and the sheer interest in trying to hit Western targets.
So let's talk about that a little bit, if we can, because I want to go through some reports. Earlier we were talking about, in the week, we were talking about the LA Times report, which said this, a piece of it said, the assault on the U.S. diplomatic mission in Benghazi last month appears to have been an opportunistic attack rather than a long-planned operation, and intelligence agencies have found no evidence that it was ordered by Al-Qaeda, according to U.S. officials and witnesses interviewed in Libya. This was an article on October 19th. And then I'll give you the Wall Street Journal one, and we can talk about, excuse me, both. Wall Street Journal, President Barack Obama was told in his daily intelligence briefing for more than a week after the consulate siege in Benghazi that the assault grew out of a spontaneous protest, despite conflicting reports from witnesses and other sources that began to cast doubt on the accuracy of that assessment almost from the start. So is this the LA Times is wrong? Is it the Wall Street Journal is wrong? Is it they're both right? Is it just so confusing that everybody could be right in this? Explain those 2 reports to me.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I think somebody latched on to what they wanted to hear in the intelligence that was provided. And remember, if you're an analyst and you do this for a living, you see all of this threat information about the consulate long before the September 11th attack on the consulate. We know twice that it's been attacked, which it tells you, by the way, and Al-Qaeda-sponsored events, they'll continue hitting a target until they're successful. We saw that with the Twin Towers in the '93 attack, and then the successful 9/11 attack in 2000. Their success, not ours. And so you take a look at all of that stream of information, and then these emails that you just highlighted. It's really difficult to come to the conclusion up front that it was a spontaneous, not planned, part of a protest, when none of that was in the early hours of reporting. So we're still trying to figure out what happened. What I believe happened, Soledad, is that somebody saw something that they thought was the way that they wanted to talk about it versus what the facts on the ground were. Because think about it, even when that narrative was starting to develop that, oh, this was spontaneous, it wasn't planned, it wasn't really a terrorist attack, on the September 13th, we had another jihadist attack on an embassy in Tunisia that was very serious. 4 people killed, again, not Americans. We had to have to evacuate the embassy, and they also went and stormed the American school there. So you see this pattern of activity. It's really hard to come to this conclusion that it was just spontaneous and just kind of happened. So that's what we're trying to figure out. And why this is important, not because who did what when is a problem here. It's about the fact that decisions were made, big policy decisions, including elevating the video, that if you listen to those emails or read those emails, nothing about the video. It elevated the video and actually caused more protests across the Middle East.
At the same time, though, we know that there were a list of countries in which the video was triggering. I mean, in the context of all of that, at the same time, there were protests that reporting showed that the video had been involved. It seems so confusing to me. Congressman Rogers, we're out of time, but I thank you for your insight this morning and walking us through that. We appreciate that. He's the chair of the Intelligence Committee.